So imagine here's a scar and they've done a surgical procedure where they've fixed the scar. Okay, so you've got the scar all nice and fixed, right? Well, the problem is when there wasn't a scar, the signal would go through the skin and go through, no problem. But now what happens is now the signal's gonna do this. It's gonna shoot off all over the place because there's a whole bunch of scar tissue in there. So we wanna just fix that so it's not shooting energy everywhere, and we want the energy focused on the tissue and on healing. Hi there, I'm Dr. Katie with the Health Improvement Center. I want to discuss scars and why we treat them, how we treat them, and more specifically what they do to the body and how they can cause an effect. Let's define a scar. A scar can be anything on the body, like a surgical scar, an accident scar. Tattoos can be scars. Also rings, belly button rings and earring holes can be scars. And also stretch marks from having given birth or lost a lot of weight. So in your skin, you have a lot of nerve endings. And those nerve endings, when they go through and cut them, here's what they do. So imagine here's a scar, okay? And they've done a surgical procedure where they've fixed the scar, okay? So you've got the scar all nice and fixed, right? Well, the problem is what used to happen is a signal, when there wasn't a scar, the signal would go through the skin and go through, no problem. But now what happens is now the signal's gonna do this. It's gonna shoot off all over the place because there's a whole bunch of scar tissue in there. And that scar, yes, it's doing what it's healing, but the problem is it's making that area not send the signal through it smoothly. So what we do with nutrition response testing is we take a wheat germ oil caplet, we pierce it with a needle, and we rub it on the scar. And what it does is it helps to diffuse all this shoot off from the tissue being damaged. It's not to fix a scar and make it look pretty. It's more to fix what's happening because you're getting all these signals. The nerves don't know what to do, so they kind of start to send all these signals everywhere. I've seen a scar on the knee shut down the thyroid. So the scars can be very powerful when they're not fixed. I'll tell you a quick story. I have a client that I'm working with who had major reconstructive surgery, so she's got a lot of scars. We've been putting wheat germ oil, and then I'm also having her laser it. So what she does is she puts a wheat germ oil on, she bought a laser, and then she lasers over the scar. And what's happening is she's starting to feel better because the scars are less, with her the scars were really tight and the tissue was really tight around it, so it's helping to relax the tissue. So she's actually seeing a change in the scar itself. That's not necessarily what I'm trying to accomplish here. I'm more trying to accomplish the fact that scars can disrupt the energy flow in the body. C-section scars, belly button rings are probably the worst because they disrupt the energy flows as they go up and down the body. And we want to fix that. So if someone's having a lot of fatigue and I'm doing an assessment on them, I might check them for scars. So these scars can do a whole slew of things. Tattoos are another thing that can do it. I have 2 tattoos and I've had to treat them as scars. And what I tell my clients that do have tattoos is you take the caplet, pierce it with a needle, rub it on the scar or rub it on the tattoo because the tattoo acts like a scar because of the needle poking in there multiple times. So you've got multiple little scars. I have another client who I was testing her and I found some nervous system dysfunction. At the end result of that nervous system dysfunction, we found that her belly button ring was shutting off her autonomic nervous system. So we had her take the belly button ring out and now we're treating the scar. She also had multiple earring holes in her ear along the edge. And so what we've done with that is have her putting the wheat germ oil on this as well. So when she comes back, I'll see how she's doing. But again, scars can disrupt the body, so we want to handle the scars if they show up. And again, it's not cosmetic to clean them up. It's more to fix what they're doing neurologically. And will tell you one story. I had a client when I first was working with wheat germ oil to see how they would affect a scar. I had a client, she always wore turtlenecks, speaking of wearing turtlenecks. And I asked her, why do you always wear turtlenecks? And she goes, well, I had this really ugly scar. And she was African American, and some African Americans can develop what are called keloids. They're just a excessive amount of scar tissue that develops on the scar. So I said, why don't you use this wheat germ oil and let me know how you do. And she was moving to Atlanta a couple weeks later. I get a call from her about 2 months in, and she's like, you're not gonna believe this. I said, what's happening? She goes, she was in the shower and she felt something funny on her neck. So she hopped out of the shower, she peeled off the keloid scar, the keloid itself, which is just a bunch of tissue, and underneath it was a nice smooth scar. So now she doesn't have to wear turtlenecks anymore. So she was really thrilled with that. But that's not necessarily what we're trying to accomplish when we're treating scars. We really wanna fix all these offshoots of energy that are coming because of the scar. So we want to just fix that so it's not shooting energy everywhere, and we want the energy focused on the tissue and on healing. If you have any questions or comments or want some more information, just comment below. I'm glad to help you out, see what I can do to help. Thank you.